Elections have consequences. And as we continue to elect in the state of Texas troglodytes into office, people who care nothing about women, people who care nothing about humanity, this is what we get. I want you to listen to this segment here on this woman in Texas who is pregnant with a baby that's not viable, and what the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the criminal in charge of the law in Texas, what's his intent? Listen to this, then we'll take it on the other side.
Very intrusive government.
And that was our colleague Rachel Maddow with a frightening prediction on the night the Supreme Court overturned Roe, stripping away the constitutional right to abortion access. She was right. In the years since, Republican-led state governments have invented new and disturbingly intrusive ways to assert control over a woman's private medical decisions. And it's led to this. Texas resident Kate Cox, who is currently 20 weeks pregnant with a baby that will not survive, had to beg a judge today for a desperately necessary abortion in order to preserve her health, to keep her baby from suffering, and to enable her to have children in the future. Now, just let that sink in. A woman in a medical emergency had to beg a court for health care due to Texas's anti-abortion laws. And to be clear, it is in fact an emergency. Kate Cox's attorney noted in the hearing today, her health is so fragile that in the time since the case was filed on Tuesday and the hearing today, Kate had gone to the emergency room for a fourth time. The judge granted her request, noting on the verge of tears that, quote, the idea that Miss Cox wants desperately to be a parent and this law might cause her to lose that ability is shocking and would be a genuine miscarriage of justice. It remains to be seen if the state of Texas will fight the judge's order today, as they have every time court in that state has sided to protect women and their health and bodily autonomy. But in a statement today, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton issued what can only be interpreted as a threat to Kate and to her doctors. Quote, the temporary restraining order granted by the Travis County District Judge purporting to allow an abortion to proceed will not insulate hospitals, doctors, or anyone else from civil and criminal liability for violating Texas's abortion laws. This includes first-degree felony prosecutions and civil penalties of not less than $100,000 for each violation. The order does not enjoin actions brought by private citizens, nor does it prohibit a district or county attorney from enforcing Texas's pre-Roe abortion laws against Kate's doctor or anyone else. The temporary restraining order will expire long before the statute of limitations for violating Texas's abortion laws expires. That is the top lawyer in the state of Texas threatening a private citizen in a medical crisis, putting a bounty on the head of her doctors. So, you can get a clear understanding of what that would mean for her. This is what Kate has said about the horror she is currently living through. Quote, it is not a matter of if I will have to say goodbye, but when. I do not want to continue the pain and suffering that has plagued this pregnancy. I do not want to put my body through the risks of continuing this pregnancy. I do not want to continue until my baby dies in my belly, or I have to deliver a stillborn baby, or one where life will be measured in hours or days, full of medical tubes and machinery. I do not want my baby to arrive in this world only to watch her suffer a heart attack or suffocation. I desperately want the chance to try for another baby and want to access the medical care now that gives me the best chance at another baby.
Imagine that. We have a government that's based on laws, and we have the judiciary, in this case, the state judiciary, whose job it is to interpret the law. And the judge puts a stay on, or not put a stay, but the judge tells this woman it is okay for you to go ahead and get your abortion. And Ken Paxton, the criminal attorney general of Texas, then says, wait a minute. Remember, the restraining order against Texas is a shorter period than the law itself. So if you hospitals or doctors touch that woman to get her that necessary medically needed abortion, we will come after you. If that isn't the gangster mentality of Republicans in Texas and throughout the country. I don't know what it is. The judge has laid down the rule. And of course, Paxton has threatened all those involved. Folks, elections have consequences. Be aware, be informed, because what these troglodytes are doing in Austin, what these guys are doing throughout the country in red states, is putting the lives of women in danger. But let me get a bit further. It's not just putting the lives of the women in danger, because that only applies to poor women. That only applies to middle-class women living paycheck to paycheck. Because if you have money, you just drive to the blue state, you just fly to the blue states and get whatever you need to get done. You take your kid, you do whatever it takes. But for those people who lack mobility, which is a majority of women, you're stuck. You're stuck even if your life is in danger. That is who you elected. You elected people who cared nothing about women, who cared nothing about humanity. That's why they don't have a problem having the highest uninsured rate in the country, where people die for lack of health care. Now women will die because doctors will be fearful in giving them the necessary health care they need with respect to their child. Folks, voting has consequences. Voting matters. It is time to clean house in this state and throughout every single red state in this country. Let's say yes to humanity.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.